Chancellor, Adamas University, erudite audience, faculty members, students, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very high table occasion today with one of the Nicholas Law to please come up on stage. Professor Shomit Ray, please. And Shati Bhattacharya, General Secretary of SWAM, to please come up on stage. Climate change is one of the most important topics that is being discussed worldwide today. There has been successive meetings, there has been successive resolutions taken all over the world, but the first world countries are yet to keep their word, and their carbon footprint is increasing every day. So this is something which we are going to discuss today threadbare. I will positively keep it to the specialist to talk about it. That has been a worldwide concern, and mankind has the responsibility to equate and take ahead the responsibilities and present to the world a world free of many worries that we have today. I would now request keynote speaker today. Madam Swati Bhattacharya, General Secretary of SWAM.
Our biodiversity is depleting at a faster rate. There has been a worldwide increase in hunger and water crises. We can no longer remain different to climate change. Otherwise, there will be no world left for our children, and they will blame us for that. Let us 2019 UN Climate Action Summit in New York. We are in the beginning of a mass excitation and all education, training, awareness raising and information program address the risks of gender-based inequalities. We must ensure an enabling environment for the increased participations of girl students in all academic and co-curriculum activities. As Chancellor of Adamas University, I can say this with authority that all these are part of our university value system. Tackling climate change is a shared responsibility for the humankind, man or woman.
Women are left bearing the burden of extreme weather events, because finally it is the women who have to provide the daily sustenance to their families. We also find that women are engaging with the problems of climate change in many different ways and in many innovative ways. And some of these actions of women at grassroots do escape our attention, but they perhaps are the most important kinds of public action that are relevant and that have to be highlighted in media.
Chancellor of Adamas University, Professor Shamit Ray, eminent environmentalist Chi Vijayendra, Pro Vice Chancellors Jyotsna Yagmik and Ujwal Chowdhury, Chief Executive Officer Professor Mrityunjoy Chatterjee, General Secretary South Asian Women in Media Swati Bhattacharjee, eminent panelists, members of the audience, students. Thank you for coming out in such numbers to support this important event. As I habitually do, I'm immediately going to depart from my prepared script because there's a risk that this morning is very heavy and you all leave thinking this is really difficult and the world's in a lot of trouble. I think I want you to leave this meeting, this seminar, with a sense of optimism, with a sense that each and every one of you can make a difference. It's rare that you watch the news on television. It's rare that you read newspaper. It's rare that you go to a news website and the lead story is a positive one. But actually, there is a lot in the world at this moment to be positive about. Deaths in violent conflicts around the planet last year, 2019, are at a 7-year low. Every year, the global community is lifting 20 million people out of extreme poverty, and it is entirely possible that together we can achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of eradicating extreme poverty by the year 2030. There have never been more literate people who are able to read and write on planet Earth than there are now, and the percentage of illiterate people is at an all-time low. More people are living in democracies, and a greater percentage of the world's population are living in democracies than ever before. And the holy grail of medical science, a really effective treatment for all types of cancer through the development of immunotherapy, offers a prospect of a much better and brighter tomorrow. You know, in a week's time, I'm going up to Guwahati in Assam to present on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen the Commonwealth Points of Light Award to a man called Jadav Payan, who single-handedly has reforested a sand spit along the Brahmaputra River, creating scores of hectares of forested land on his own. One person making a big difference. All of us can do that. Now, I'm grateful for the speaker who paid tribute to what the United Kingdom is doing. I think, as many of you will know, the United Kingdom will be hosting COP26, COP, the Conference of Parties. This is the United Nations Climate Change Summit. It will be taking place in the Scottish city of Glasgow in November this year. And we badly need the global community of nations to agree more ambitious action to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Make no mistake, the last COP meeting in Madrid at the end of last year produced a very disappointing outcome. It did not do what we wanted it to. It did not do, I'm sure, what you wanted it to do. It did not bring the much vaunted Paris Agreement on climate change into effect. It's going to be a big challenge, and there's a lot of work to do to achieve that. But it's a challenge that my country, the United Kingdom, will not duck. And I'm hugely encouraged by the goodwill and determination I'm already finding in my 4 months in India, here at the local level, at the regional level, and in New Delhi, to ensure that we get the result in Glasgow that all of us need. We're at a tipping point. The planet needs early and decisive action to repair our Earth. If we carry on as we are, we will do irreparable damage to the planet. And I know none of you here in this audience wish that to happen. This is our opportunity to turn the tide. COP26 will be the biggest summit the United Kingdom has ever hosted. We're expecting something like 30,000 delegates to come to Glasgow. And there we need countries, cities, states and businesses to move onto a credible path to zero net emissions in the coming decades. Now, it may seem a little bit opportunistic to hijack a conference which, above all else, the United Kingdom wants to put nature and community-based solutions to climate change. And here we're talking in the areas of adaptation and mitigation at the centre of what we're going to do in Glasgow. Women have insights, women have knowledge on community-based practical solutions that very often men don't have. We need women to be in a leadership role. Above all else, we mustn't exclude women from decision-making role, because evidence from around the world shows if you involve women in decision-making, you get positive results, you get a better quality of decision. Climate change is one of many issues where the United Kingdom and India are working together as a force for good. It's hard to think of any of the great global issues of our time where the UK and India aren't working together. For example, ending the scourge of plastics in our rivers and oceans, fighting antimicrobial resistance are other examples. And so it is with climate change. We've got a long way to go, but it can be done. Look at my country. We have reduced our greenhouse gas emissions by 43% since 1990, and at the same time grown our economy by around about 75%. These are big numbers. It can be done. It's not impossible. Our work together with India includes our work with the Ministry of Rural Development to incorporate data on climate change as part of the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Now, this strengthens resilience to the impacts of climate change and promotes livelihood security among poorer women in rural communities. And ahead of International Women's Day, which, as you know, falls on next Sunday, I'm delighted that the United Kingdom and India are sharing expertise to ensure women and girls can reach their full potential around the world and are partners in climate change and adaptation. I'm proud we're working hand in hand with state governments, law enforcement agencies and educational authorities in India to promote greater gender equality. Before I finish, and I'm aware I've already abused the 4 minutes I was given for this lot, may I commend to all of you, I particularly want to do this given an academic audience that I've got in front of me, may I commend to all of you our Chevening Scholarships and Fellowships. Chevening Scholarships, we give around about 65 of these a year to the brightest and best in India. Normally early mid-career professionals, we're talking people normally in their 30s, they can be a little bit younger.
I wasn't aware of that until you just told me, but it sounds absolutely commendable that the government of West Bengal is doing that. I think all around the world you're seeing public authorities move towards transport that makes fewer demands on the environment. We're doing this in my country with electric cars, electric buses, electric trams. I'm delighted that Calcutta is probably the leader in the whole of South Asia in this move towards electric, non-polluting, sustainable urban mass transit. I think bicycle has absolutely got a role to play. I'm sure all of you will have heard Boris Johnson speaking about priority countries for the United Kingdom in the run-up to our general election in December. And the Prime Minister made it very clear that India would be a priority for the United Kingdom. not just in respect of trade, vitally important though that is, but in terms of addressing all the great global issues of our time. That's very much the case. What we've got with India is what we call a building block approach. So we're putting together the elements that we hope in the not too distant future will put us in a position to conclude a free trade agreement. So I think there's a lot of work to be done, but there's goodwill on both sides, and we're very hopeful that before all that long, something concrete will emerge. I think as we go, in respect to the climate, we're clearly going to be working very closely indeed with India in the coming year to make a success of the COP26 meeting. I mean, India is absolutely crucial to the success of any global agreement on climate change. And I'm hugely encouraged, as we've seen today, by both how informed the debate is here in India and the amount of goodwill, creativity, innovation one sees in India to achieving high-quality solutions, not only around adaptation, not only around mitigation, but some really good stuff in technology. And of course, India began the International Solar Alliance, of which the UK is proud to be a member, and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, which gave UK one of the founder parts of that. So there's a lot more for all of us to do, a lot more for India to do, a lot more for the UK to do, and I hope that we can work together and bring other countries along. Look, I've been in India for 4.5 months. How could I not be aware of Citizenship Amendments Act and National Register of Citizens? But these are, first and foremost, a domestic political issue in India. It's not for me as a British diplomat to tell the government of India what it should do. I do recall Prime Minister Modi's statements before the last election, which are a lot of very inclusive things, development for all, trust with all, etc., etc. I think we trust the Prime Minister to pursue policies that embody those sentiments.
Thank you. The better it will be. Women's safety and security primarily depends on women's own power, and many women are taking karate classes and things like that, and only when they go together and move together and raise their voices and shows power and strength, only they will be safe. No technology will solve their problem. Very good. And in big cities, also women are forming cycle groups. Kolkata Cycle Samaj ache, and I myself inspired a woman of 50 to start learning cycle at the age of 50.
Yes. No, I always cycle
in groups. People make way for them. If you go alone, yes, there's fear. Okay. So I think women should go in groups and cycle and see.
But not in proper
see whose road it is. Does the road belong to car or to cycle or to pedestrian? It's a war on road.
Yes.
It's a war on car, and we have to fight that war. We can't let. There's no point creating special lanes for cycle. I'm opposed to that because it's taking more road space. After the land is meant for agriculture and so many other things. We can't keep on increasing space for only cars. So I'm totally opposed to bicycle lanes. It may be alright in England because there's a lot of space. In India, the space is a big problem. We don't have land. The population per unit area is so high in India. So I'm opposed to all these bicycle lanes, etc. I'm saying that we should reduce cars.
এটা যদি সচেতনতা বাড়ানো যায় এবং ইউনিভার্সিটিতে যদি সেই ধরনের কোর্স করানো হয় এবং ইউনিভার্সিটিতে যারা নেক্সট জেনারেশন যে ছেলেমেয়েরা বড় হচ্ছে তাদের যদি ওইখানে ট্রেনিং করা যায় তাহলে কিন্তু আস্তে আস্তে সচেতনতা বাড়লে পরে আমরা এটাকে ঠিক করতে পারব। সেই জন্যই আমাদের উদ্দেশ্য ছিল যে আজকে অ্যাডামাস ইউনিভার্সিটির তত্ত্বাবধানে এবং ব্রিটিশ কাউন্সিলের সহযোগিতায় এবং অনেক বিখ্যাত যারা এনভায়রনমেন্টালিস্ট যারা এসছে, যারা ভীষণভাবে কাজ করেছেন, পেপার লিখেছেন, তারাও আজকে সেমিনারে বক্তব্য রাখছেন। সেই দিক থেকে আমার মনে হয় যে এটা সার্থক পদক্ষেপ এবং নেক্সট জেনারেশনকে আমরা যখন লোকজন যাতায়াত করে তখন কিন্তু ব্যাটারি চালিত গাড়িতে কি হচ্ছে সবাই যাতায়াত করে। আমরা চেষ্টা করছি যে প্লাস্টিক থেকে কীভাবে ব্রিক্স তৈরি করা যায়, সেটাও হচ্ছে সায়েন্স স্কুলের একটা প্রজেক্ট হিসেবে নেওয়া হয়েছে। তো এইরকমভাবে আমরা ভাবছি কীভাবে পলিউশনকে করা যায়। 1 নাম্বার 2 হচ্ছে এখনও আমরা দেখতে পাই আমাদের ছেলেমেয়েদের মা কিন্তু বড় করার ক্ষেত্রে ভীষণ একটা ভূমিকা নেয়, কিন্তু শিক্ষার ক্ষেত্রে, নৈতিকতা তৈরি করার ক্ষেত্রে, ফিলসফি তৈরি করার ক্ষেত্রে। তাহলে ঠিক সেই রকমভাবে যদি মাও সচেতন হন এবং সেই যদি সবসময় ছোটো ছোটো বাচ্চাদের এই এনভায়রনমেন্টের সম্বন্ধে যে ভালোবাসা, পরিবেশকে রক্ষা করা, এটাও যদি ঢুকিয়ে দিতে পারেন, তাহলেও এটা কিন্তু একটা শিক্ষার অঙ্গ হিসাবেই আস্তে আস্তে কি হচ্ছে ছেলেমেয়েরা নিয়ে নিতে পারবে, যা তাদেরকে ভীষণভাবে সচেতন তৈরি করবে। আমি এক্ষেত্রে বলবো যে এনভায়রনমেন্টকে বাঁচাতেই হবে এবং সেই ক্ষেত্রে মহিলাদের বা উইমেন্সদের ভূমিকা ভীষণভাবে অগ্রগণ্য হওয়া দরকার। এবং আমরা দেখতেও পাচ্ছি, কারণ আজকে তো মহিলারা অনেক দেশের প্রধানমন্ত্রী হচ্ছে, সায়েন্টিস্ট হচ্ছে, ভারতের যে বিভিন্ন রকমের ইসরোর যে পরিকল্পনা হচ্ছে সেখানে চিফ ডিরেক্টর হিসাবে কাজ করছে। তাই উইমেন্সরা কিন্তু ভীষণ ক্রিয়েটিভ এবং প্যাশনস নিয়ে যেভাবে জিনিসকে গড়ে তোলে, আমার মনে হয় এই ক্ষেত্রে তাদের ভূমিকা অনেক গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। ম্যান থেকে, যদিও পরিবেশ রক্ষা করার দায়িত্ব সবারই, মেন্স এবং উমেন্সের, কিন্তু আমার মনে হয় যে তারা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ভূমিকা নিতে পারে।